Hey guys, another week, another game dev vlog, and this week has been a bit of a weird one. It started off with, of course, work on our game that we were working on, me and Alex, also known as Kantaya, for the Coolmath Games Jam. The game we ended up making is called Finn's Fantastic Food Machine, and the game is broken down into two stages, where you catch plates on your head, and then where you go and serve them to the customers. And every round there's more and more plates, and it just increases in difficulty up until you eventually win the game. Now, of course, being a game jam, there were some things that had to be sacrificed, such as the story. There actually isn't really any storytelling in the game as it is currently. The ending of the game is kind of anticlimactic. At least the gameplay is fun, and it definitely looks pretty nice too. Alex did a good job on the visuals on that. Essentially how this jam's working is 5 contestants are selected as finalists, and those are uploaded to the site. Then out of those 5, it goes on to public voting, and then eventually the top winner is the grand prize winner of the $1,500, and the other 4 get $500 each. We don't know if we're placing anywhere in that. We have not heard back from them on email or anything, so we'll see at this point. But honestly, at this point, it actually doesn't matter all that much because we have backup plans. Essentially, we have a good basis for a game, and no matter what happens, we're actually going to be building on top of that to really finish the game out, like adding the story, making the ending more satisfying, and then actually get it onto other sites. Even if Coolmath doesn't win it at all in the contest, there's still a great chance of making a decent amount from the Congregate monthly contest, as well as potentially getting a sponsorship on Armor Games, or even Coolmath. Even if they don't win it from the contest, they might want the full version of the game on their site. So we'll see how this goes, but overall it's definitely not going to waste or anything. So anyway, Wednesday, I believe, I went back to work on Everybody at Its Universe. I was definitely a bit out of the pattern of working on it. I was just having a hard time staying focused and actually making any progress. I did inch my way forward on some things. For example, on Wednesday, I believe I was working on fixing some of the bugs in Chrome. Essentially, a combination of using absolute or even relative positioning along with a transform value and overflow hidden causes things to render in the wrong order in Chrome. Anyway, after fixing those issues, I moved on to some optimizations for the block selector, actually. How I was doing it previously, I was using separate canvases for each block, and then I was realizing that didn't really seem like it was really going to work out too well. I don't know, it just seems very awkward using the DOM for stuff like this, where you have to hybridize things between what you would want to do in the canvas rendering really easily, but just drawing blocks from the normal texture atlas, and then trying to put them into discrete DOM elements. Anyway, after getting that working, I moved on to working on adding the sidebar, and currently the idea is to have that be a collapsible sidebar. It just works a lot better for keeping the field of view in the game like nice and wide, filling the screen properly, and you can pull up that sidebar whenever you want to see other things. It also means we can move things off of the toolbar, such as the Go to Lobby button. We can hide that away. We're trying to figure out where we want the chat exactly. We have a feeling it's going to be on that sidebar in some way or another. The other idea was having it floating in some way, but we're probably going to go the other way with it in the sidebar. Anyway, as I was working on this, I started doing some more testing in Internet Explorer, trying to figure out why on earth my block selector was flickering whenever I had the sidebar open. And apparently it's because it has a shadow. So basically, if I have the sidebar behind the toolbar with a drop shadow, which is what I want, it flickers the block selector. But if I put the sidebar in front of the toolbar, so the shadow now goes onto the toolbar, it works fine. It doesn't flicker. I don't know what's up there, and at this point it's just another complication about using the DOM for the UI, and I'm not really sure if this is the direction we're going to keep going. Using the DOM is very advantageous for some things, such as more structured layouts and text inputs and things like that, but at this point it's almost becoming a little more effort than it's actually worth, because there are alternative ways of doing those other things that don't require so much work to keep working properly between browsers. I really don't like the idea of piling on all these workarounds for things, especially this early in the process, because that's just going to complicate the code base and make things a bit of a mess to keep going forward with, and that's not what we want. Anyway, I'd like to actually do something that I've been wanting to do the past few weeks, and that is to finally show you guys what Everybody at Its Universe is looking like. Now, keep in mind, some things are very subject to change, especially when it comes to the graphics. I mean, the basic blocks are pretty much final, but some of the shading on them may need adjustments. And then as far as the smiley, it will probably need some adjustments as we're starting to figure out how it's going to work with accessories. But anyway, enough of that. I think it's finally time that we go ahead and let you see what it looks like. So as you can see, the game runs pretty smoothly generally. And now keep in mind, it's of course the canvas renderer still. I have not had time to work on the WebGL version. Got all the drawing, got mini map. Everyone's in God mode still because Luke is working on the physics, but he just got on break from school he was working on, so he's going to be available for quite a bit, which is definitely a good thing because he's going to be able to make a lot more progress. So we should be able to see that in action quite soon. We'll probably be doing more of an official announcement on the forums showing the graphics in more detail then, once we have them more finalized. Now, of course, we are a little behind where we would have liked to have been by this point, but we still are on track to at least try to get the game out sometime in April. I definitely think it's possible. So anyway, yeah, that's about that. That's what the game's looking like right now. Definitely a lot more work left to do, that's for sure. But we are getting there, we are making progress, and as I said, I'm going to get a bit more serious this week and try to really get things going. But anyway, I guess that is going to have to be it for today. So as always, I do want to thank my contributors over on Patreon. It is a massive help. So if you want to check it out for yourself, the link is down in the description below. And of course, I want to thank everybody at its patrons as well. So yeah, I'll see you around. Goodbye.